Well, it's Monday, and that can mean only one thing. It's time to hear about what's on the Archfiend's mind. Got a few things to talk about today, and I guess starting off, we'll talk about the Oscars. The Oscars were last night, and all in all, I thought it was a really good show. Very, very, very pleased with who won what. More specifically, so glad Mad Max cleaned up. Now, they didn't get any, acting awards because they weren't nominated for any. They didn't win for Movie of the Year, which, all right, it was a dark horse hope in the world that they were going to win that. But getting 6 out of 7 non-acting Oscars and just basically putting a stamp on the night of, saying like, hey, this movie is something that you should go see for sound editing, special effects, costumes, makeup, and all that other crap that they were nominated. Actually, I think they lost like one of those. But anyways, they won 6 out of 7 awards that they were nominated, at least that were on the main show itself. Very happy because I just saw that movie. Actually, we just talked about that movie a couple weeks ago here. And I was blown away by how good it was. I know I'm late to the party and finally seeing this film, but holy shit. That was a great film. Charlize Theron should have got nominated. Not so much Tom Hardy, but Charlize Theron should have got nominated. She was a beast in that film. Another thing coming out of the Oscars is Sam Smith winning for his Damn, I just talked about Spectre a couple weeks ago and I forget the name of the song. Anyways, he won for Song of the Year in a movie for the song he made in Spectre. History making a moment in that he is the first openly gay individual to win an award. And people were wondering going into the Oscars, was that going to go against Sam? Was the Academy going to hold his homosexuality against him? And thank the heavens above, or whatever you want to thank, it wasn't held against him. And it's nice to see that society is taking another step towards evolutionary progress and just accepting everyone for who they are and not holding something like one's sexuality against them. Anyways, Chris Rock. Phenomenal job as host, and more specifically for making all those Oscars so white and boycott the Oscars people look like complete fools. Oh my God, that opening monologue that Chris Rock had just completely destroyed people like Will and Jada Smith, Spike Lee, all these other people that, I'm not watching the Oscars. Too white. The one of the specific things, I'm not going to go over every single point of poking fun at this whole thing that Chris Rock did, but one of the most important things that he had in his opening monologue was how he said, like, let's be real here. This has happened a number of times. I'm paraphrasing, his monologue. This has happened a number of times. I mean, this is the 88th running of the Oscars. There's been plenty of times where there hasn't been a black person nominated for an acting award. And he said, like, take the 50s and 60s, for instance. There was any number of years that went by where an African-American actor wasn't nominated. And he's like, and people didn't protest about it because there was more legit things, worthwhile things to protest. Blacks were still getting hung from trees and the civil rights movement was still in gear and all this stuff. And I was like, you're goddamn right. And that is so true, in that this is what we're going to protest over now in society, that blacks weren't nominated. Like, okay, even if there is an ounce of racism towards Hollywood or from Hollywood because of this, it's like, it's worth noting. But to get like this whole thing, like Will and Jada Smith are going to be on like the Today Show getting interviewed and stuff like that, and Spike Lee is going to be out there in his public pulpit speaking about this, we're boycotting the Oscars. It's like, that's really what you want to devote your time and effort to, for standing up for black rights in this country, African American rights, whatever politically correct term you want to use. Oh, I said black. Anyways, Chris Rock did a bang up job, and the black man made all the people that were boycotting the Oscars look like the fools that they are. Anyway, moving along, a topic that you guys have been asking repeatedly for me to cover. And I have plenty to say on this, and I'm going to say it now. The whole where's the fair use, the hashtag WTFU movement. And more specifically, the efforts that were put forth by Doug Walker and a number of things that were happening on his channel, where a couple weeks ago, his channel was hit with a strike over a fair use issue on one of his videos. He lost all monetization on his channel for just one strike, and it was weeks on end he wasn't able to make money. Now, I'm not going to sit here and reiterate the same points because you've heard them before in saying how dumb it is to rely on internet income, because I've said that till I'm blue in the face. But my point still stands of how volatile stuff like the internet and YouTube is, and I can't stress it enough of how stupid it is. Okay, so I'm going to repeat one point. And that's the problem with the internet, and specifically YouTube in general. By the way, Glasgow, great city. Or Glasgow, however you want me to pronounce it. Stuff like this, there is no concrete way of saying this is fair use, this isn't. If you're a company or an individual that can claim something on fair use, this, and this has to be breached or met in order for you to do so. People can claim fair use for just any reason. And there's not the resources at YouTube to personally have a human individual inspect each claim. And it just gets to the point where stuff has to be taken for granted and saying like, well, someone filed a claim, we can't have, thousands of people manning computers to deal with every claim and all this shit and blah, blah, blah. So you get things like what happened to Doug Walker. And again, that goes into the points that I've made about YouTube before, in that, it's foolish to rely on this place as a source of income to live off of, because something like this could happen at any second. Even Doug Walker himself said there isn't a day that goes by where he doesn't fear losing his livelihood income out of fear that, some bullshit is going to happen, like inaccurate or improper fair use being brought to his doorstep. And I don't think what Doug Walker does violates fair use or anything like that. Fair use absolutely has a place in this world for critical reviewers that shouldn't have to just say like, well, there's this one scene, let me describe it to you because it's really dumb, okay? Like there's an actor here and an actor there. The room is kind of half lit, and then there's like a dog that's in the background. Like, you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to say like, take a look at this clip and how foolish it is, and then review it. All right? Fair use exists for instances like that and any sort of critical reviewing. And it should stay like that. So, this whole where's the fair use movement has been gaining steam over the past couple weeks. Goddamn, who's the other guy that got in on this? Anyways, there's another popular YouTuber, along with Doug Walker and a bunch of other people. Damn it, who was it? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. There's another guy on YouTube, specifically told his fans to go and tweet where's the fair use issue to the CEO of YouTube, one of the CEOs, I forget her name. Jesus Christ, this is why people have notes. Anyways, the CEO of YouTube got inundated with so much Twitter cluster coming her way that she actually acknowledged it. Actually acknowledged hashtag WTFU, and YouTube is working hard to resolve this issue and the issues that content creators have and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you know what? Talk is cheap. Let's see some actions, lady. Anyways, I feel for people like Doug Walker, and even though I've said numerous times that, it's just really kind of stupid to rely on YouTube or just the internet in general when you're making video content, because any number of things like a fair use takedown and your channel going away or your livelihood being threatened can happen so easily because the rules are so unclear. It's like when you work a job, you pretty much know what the rules are when you work a 9 to 5, all right? Someone's not going to say like, hey, I heard you quoting a movie the other day while you're on the job. you're fired because, someone claimed copyright against you, like you're not going to get something like that. So anyways, not to get off more on that again, but I feel for people like Doug Walker and anyone else that has their livelihood threatened, but at the same time I say, you do have to live in fear, like Doug Walker said, you do have to live in fear of that happening, because until things are made concrete rule-wise and what you can and can't do, and how you have to take back the power and take the power away. And that's where the system is completely messed up. There is too much power in the claimees, the people that claim you stole their content, you illegally fair used something, or you didn't fair use it, you overdid it, and blah, blah, blah. There's too much power in the people that can claim stuff. Just the other day on this channel right here, I had a video from 6 years ago, got filed with a privacy claim that I revealed someone's information, and I was issued a notification from YouTube that I had 48 hours to take down the video, an official notification, either correct it, or I could correct it, re-upload the video, or just remove the video completely. If you don't, the claim is going to be investigated. And it said the claim started at this time in the video. It was just some random video where it said a privacy complaint where a release of personal information. And I watched the clip. There was nothing. There was no name said. There was no addresses or anything. Not that I give out addresses in my videos or anything like that. And this just goes to show you that someone just did it for the hell of it. It happens to me constantly. And it just happened the other day. So that's the power that the claimees have, that they can file something like this. I'm like, why are you sending me an official message saying I have 48 hours to do what? Respond to the nothing that my video got flagged for? Get the hell out of here. Anyways, nothing happens to my channel because obviously I don't violate copyrights or anything like that, and strikes eventually get taken off. But it's a hassle for even someone like me. I'm not sitting here crying about it, but I'm showing you that it happens to even someone as small as my channel. Anyway, they got to fix the system. They got to do something, because it is the point that it's beyond ridiculous, because YouTube has gotten so big. There's so many content creators, and there's so many more targets that people that have nothing better in their lives to do than to just false flag stuff, because they can. But you know what? The system allows them to do it. So I can only put so much hate and vitriol on the people claiming these false flags. They're putting out the claims, as I can the system itself. Like, the real bastard in this situation is YouTube, because they allow it. They have a system that allows it. But to play devil's advocate, what is the alternate system? I mean, we seriously can't expect YouTube to hire thousands upon thousands of people and expect them to, increase their payroll insurmountably just to, pay for that. Anyways, I don't know. I'm just the guy that makes YouTubes and doesn't work here for a living. So not really my problem or my issue to get too overly concerned about. But you guys wanted to hear me talk about it, so I gave it to you. Next up, Super Tuesday elections are tomorrow. You're pretty much going to get a solid grasp of who is going to be running for president after tomorrow. I hate to break it to you, but tomorrow is going to be the day that Donald Trump is basically foreseen as the Republican candidate for president. And the one group of people you have to blame for that is the GOP. The Democratic Party is doing things correctly right now. I have no front-running horse in this race. I just want to state that right off the bat. I have no idea who I'm going to vote for. And yes, I'm actually voting in this election. I know I said before that I don't care in elections, but I care this time. I'm voting. Blah. I have no horse in this race. I'm not speaking to you as a Trump supporter, a Ted Cruz supporter, a Hillary supporter, a Bernie supporter, anything like that. But the Democrats are doing it right in that they stopped dicking around. Once it got near election time, they honed things down to two candidates, Hillary and Bernie. All right? That's how it should be. All right? going into like New Hampshire and Iowa, it's okay to have a few candidates, a few more than two. But once you start getting to Super Tuesday, you really should start honing down to two major candidates. And in the Republican Party, Donald Trump is by far the clear front runner. When you have someone that is that clear of a front runner, it is in your party's best interest, especially if you don't want him to go into the White House, which a lot of people in the GOP don't, but he's picking up a lot of fringe voting and a lot of support from people that are just going to vote for him. Anyway, it would be in the GOP's best interest to say, all right, Cruz, Rubio, we need to pick which one of you two are the stronger candidates to put out there, and everyone else needs to just drop out because you're splitting the votes. A lot of these close states where Donald Trump only wins by 3 or 4 percentage points could have been won by someone like Rubio or Ted Cruz if one or the other just dropped out and their votes said, well, Rubio's not in, so I'm going to vote for Cruz because I don't want Trump. But they're going into Super Tuesday with a plethora of 6 viable candidates right now behind Trump that are all still in it, that are all going to take multiple percentage points of votes that could have been kicked over to the next leading guy. And frankly, at this point, the GOP deserves to have Donald Trump as their presidential candidate because they're dumb enough to have their structure set up to allow so. I mean, my God, at least with the Democrats, it's Hillary or Bernie. That's it. There's no one else siphoning out the votes. Spare maybe 1 or 2 percentage points that someone's going to get a fringe vote from this or that. So, come tomorrow night, I should say, we're probably going to be settling with the fact that Donald Trump, a celebrity businessman, is going to be one of the nominees for President of the United States of America. I also find it interesting that the 3 frontrunners right now are the celebrity billionaire, the Jewish guy, and a woman. Who is this country more than likely to vote for? The celebrity billionaire, the Jewish guy, or the woman? I gotta tell you, I have no idea. Because I sit back and I say, do I feel this country is really going to elect a Jewish guy or a woman as president? And I'm like, no. I don't think the country will. So that means Donald Trump wins by default? Is that what's going to happen? I don't know, as Lex Luger would say. I used that joke the other day. Anyway, it's going to be interesting for one thing. All I know is I'm looking forward to these presidential debates, specifically with, hopefully it's Hillary and Donald Trump, just for the sake of entertainment value, seeing those two go at each other. That's going to be, oh my God, that's going to be 2 vipers biting each other in the face. Anyway, thus ends another What's on Archfiend's Mind. Have a good day, everyone. And I was going to say something about the Dallas Cowboys, but this ain't a football video. Have a good day, everyone.